The 38th and 39th summits of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, opened on October 26, with discussion focused on joint efforts to contain the COVID-19 outbreak, among other issues. The summit and their related meetings took place online and under the chairmanship of Brunei, which is the ASEAN chair for 2021. Prime Minister Phankham Viphavanh led the Laos delegation attending the summits under the theme "We Are, We Prepare, We Prosper." At the 38th summit, ASEAN leaders reviewed and highly valued the progress made on ASEAN community building despite member states contending with the outbreaks of COVID-19. The leaders discussed joint efforts to respond to the pandemic. They noted the establishment of health centers and COVID-19 response funds, as well as the establishment of an emergency and natural disaster response fund. Laos has contributed $100,000 to the ASEAN COVID-19 Response Fund and another $50,000 in humanitarian aid for Myanmar via the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management. The region's leaders also discussed exchange visits by people within the region as well as a travel cooperation framework within ASEAN amid the pandemic.
ในการแพร่ระบาดของไม้ของปัญหาโควิด -19 ภัยพิบัติทางธรรมชาติที่เกิดขึ้นเรื่อยๆและคือ
Prime Minister Phankham, on behalf of the Lao government, expressed heartfelt gratitude to ASEAN member countries for the valuable support and assistance extended to help Laos deal with the COVID-19 outbreak. The Prime Minister called for further cooperation among ASEAN member countries in the fight against the pandemic. Strengthened cooperation in the field of regional connectivity and supply chains was also tabled for discussion. The meeting noted that initial preparations had begun for the drafting of a post-2025 ASEAN Community Vision. The 38th Summit adopted several documents, including initiatives on strengthening ASEAN synergy in response to natural disasters and on promoting multilateralism and Blue Sea economic cooperation. At the 39th Summit, ASEAN leaders reviewed cooperation between ASEAN and its dialogue partners and noted the important role played by ASEAN in the regional and international arenas. Prime Minister Phankham underlined the importance of ASEAN centrality, consensus, and solidarity when it comes to ASEAN relations with outsiders. The leaders also discussed other regional and international issues of mutual interest. ASEAN leaders also attended summits with ASEAN dialogue partners, the 22nd ASEAN Republic of Korea Summit, the 24th ASEAN China Summit, and the 9th ASEAN USA Summit. The ASEAN leaders and their dialogue partners highly valued their cooperation and pledged further collaboration, notably in the fight against COVID-19. Prime Minister Phankham Viphavanh on October 26 led a Laos delegation to attend the 9th ASEAN-US Summit via an online format with ASEAN leaders, U.S. President Joe Biden, and ASEAN Secretary General in attendance. At the event, participating countries welcomed progress made in both sides all-around cooperation and consented to prioritize collaboration of effective COVID-19 control and other mutual support in sustainable recovery. ASEAN leaders welcomed the U.S. commitment to helping ASEAN improve medical capacity and providing more vaccine, while calling on the U.S. to step up cooperation in researching, developing, and producing vaccine and medicine for COVID-19 treatment. U.S. President Joe Biden reaffirmed his nation's commitment to strengthening its partnership with ASEAN and underscored the importance of the U.S.-ASEAN ties to the future of a region of over 1 billion people, as well as to security and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. He expressed support for ASEAN's centrality in efforts to build a regional structure based on rules and values and principles stated in the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific, or AOIP. The U.S. president said the U.S. has donated more than $200 million for COVID-19 response and 40 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to ASEAN members. The U.S. will continue to support the region in the fight against the pandemic and carry out the ASEAN-U.S. Health Future initiatives, he added. Joe Biden announced the intent to provide up to $102 million in new initiatives to expand the U.S.-ASEAN strategic partnership to support the region's recovery from COVID-19, address the climate crisis, promote economic growth, and develop human capital. Amid complicated development in the region and the world, the two sides reaffirmed the significance of maintaining peace, security, and stability in the region. The U.S. President voiced support for ASEAN's efforts to enhance dialogue and reconciliation and assist Myanmar in seeking solutions to stabilize the situation. At the end of the summit, both sides approved the ASEAN-U.S. leaders' statement on digital development with the aim of promoting digital transformation and narrowing digital gaps in ASEAN.